Good morning, I'm Chris Fox. Welcome to the fifth and final Launch to Market video. So over these past 5 videos, we've discussed the success of Destroyer, which was my 21-day novel challenge book. And today we get to go over all the conclusions of the first 30 days of sales. So what went well, what didn't. You're going to see over the next few minutes each of the metrics from mailing list signups to sales to reviews and how the book performed. And just a bit of a spoiler, it performed very, very well. I'm extremely pleased with how things ended up. So at the very end of the video, you'll see final conclusions from me, one last look at my face in the series, and you'll hear a bit more about where we're going from here. So thank you so much for sticking with me during this journey. Let's go ahead and take a look at the recap. Okay, so we're looking at the sales numbers for Destroyer since its release. You can see here's that big spike of 542 units on the first day of release, and then it started to fall. I put it back to full price on April 3rd, and then from there you can see it's been cruising right along between 80 and 100 units every single day, almost 1 million pages read, and you can see that this nice steady trend continues to go up. So this last day we can ignore because it's still early in the day and it doesn't have full sales numbers. April 27th is the last real complete day. But you notice that the numbers continue to rise, still doing just as well as it did at the beginning. So it's very, very sticky. And I suspect while I might lose a little bit of momentum next month, it's still going to sell very, very well. You can see Book Report. For those of you who don't use it, this is an add-on for your KDP dashboard. So it won't actually do anything other than Amazon. But for Amazon, it's very, very useful. So here are the earnings per day across the entire month. You can see that Destroyer represents the vast majority of my Amazon earnings. It sold almost 2,500 copies in April and had 864,000 pages read. I don't even have words to express how awesome that feels. Book was a grand slam in every way that it possibly could be. Taking a look at mailing list signups, we've examined this once before, but here we're coming into final numbers. It looks like I'm going to pass 1,000 subscribers today in April. 1,000 subscribers. And the vast majority of those are for the Void Wraith list. So you can see that I have a number of different lists here. I have fiction website signups, which started in March and have been blowing up. This gives away the short story Exiled. The Void Wraith Trilogy list is the front and back matter list. So 785 people signed up just from the front or back of the book. Those are the only people that get to this list. You can see that some of my other lists are doing well as well. And then finally, the book's performance has been stellar. You can see that it's got 95 customer reviews in less than a month. And we're looking at a 4.5 average. So 70% of people rated this a 5 stars. If you scroll down to our rank, I'm still at number 578 paid in the Kindle store. So it's actually improved over time. So we stabilized around 700 and over the month have kind of crept back down a little bit. So that is just phenomenal. Every way that I can measure this book shows that it's a success. It shows that writing to market works. It shows that having written and edited a book in 21 days is not a measure of its quality, and that you could write a good book in that time that readers will really love. So I want to talk a little bit about audiobooks. You'll notice that I now have that Audible tab on the product. So if you click over here, it's the same page you're used to seeing, but readers can choose that Audible tab and get to the audio version of your book, which is a wonderful discovery tool. And if you're not working in audio, that's money you're leaving on the table. So I definitely recommend investigating, especially if you write long-form fiction. Shorter fiction doesn't do nearly as well on audio, but may still be worth doing. So this book is only 7.5 hours long, and yet it's still selling pretty well. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the Audible page. And you can see that Destroyer is my top seller at the moment just because it just came out. Hero Born is doing okay. And then this is the workhorse of my entire audio empire, if you will, the Deathless Collection. So it is 40 hours and 57 minutes long, 41 hours. And people love that because they get 1 to 2 credits a month that they can spend on a book. So it doesn't matter how long that book is, it's going to take one of their credits regardless. So if your choice is, I could purchase this 41-hour book or I can get this 7-hour book, most people are going to go for that 41-hour book. And for that reason, I don't expect Destroyer to sell as well as it otherwise could because it's not long enough really to appeal to that sweet spot. But here's where Amazon comes to the rescue. You notice this Whisper Sync for Voice Ready tag on the book. This means that if people buy the ebook, they can, at a discounted price, in this case $3.47, get the audiobook at the same time. And those two books are linked, so while you are reading the ebook, you can press a button and it'll start the narration and turn the pages for you. And a lot of people love that. So Whisper Sync means that even though my book is shorter, I'll probably still sell quite well on audio, making it a really, really viable venue. So I would encourage you to investigate audio at the very least. It's a much less crowded workspace, I guess, than you're seeing in ebooks now, by an order of magnitude. So there are several 100,000 audiobooks listed and then several million ebooks listed. So it's just easier to get discoverability. If you enjoy listening to audiobooks, that's another reason to get into it. If you have questions about the audiobook process, feel free to post those in the comments or just shoot me an email. I'm happy to talk about it. But to date, I've sold over 15,000 of them. I make great money on it. You can make a lot more money per unit sale than you can on an ebook. So definitely worth considering, and it's working well for me. One of the ways that I managed to get attention on it that you could consider using is the audiobooks subreddit over on Reddit. So normally Reddit is not a great place to promote your work, but in this case I took the free codes that Audible gave me and I offered them first to my mailing list subscribers and then created this thread. So I told them a little bit about what the book was about, and then I let people post for codes, and I got 187 comments. So I gave away something like 90 to 100 codes. People went out and they bought the book, and that catapulted it up to number 200 in the Audible store, got some eyes on it, and now it's got that momentum. So audio is a little harder to push than an ebook because you have less controls. You can't change the price at will, but there's still some levers you can pull, and if you pull them, again, there's a lot of money to be made in audio, and I definitely recommend giving it a look for your book. So many of the authors that I know haven't tried out audio, and that's just money on the table. So again, feel free to give it a look. In my case, over the course of May, I expect it's going to be at least several $1,000s, possibly more, in my pocket as a result of just that one venue. Wow. So this is a really big moment. After a little over 2 months, I have completed this journey, and the journey started with a 21-day novel challenge. Day 0 of that challenge was February 21st. Here we are on April 28th, and not only did I write, edit, and publish a book, but we've got 30 days of sales data to track, and you can see that it did exactly what I hoped that it would. It's sticky in the charts. It's actually ranked better right now than it has been for most of the month. Reviews are pouring in, mailing list subscribers are pouring in. This is exactly what I visualized when I started this process. So I still remember I was like going on a hike. It was like the 3rd day of me being self-employed. Here I am, I've just given up my 6-figure comfortable software engineer job, and I'm saying to myself, how do I take this to the next level? What do I do? And so on that hike, I conceived of the 21-day novel challenge, and in my head, I'm picturing this book sailing to the top of the charts. And I remember thinking it was a little outlandish and kind of unlikely that, it would sail up to like number 500, and then it would settle in at like 4,000, and I would be thrilled. And instead, it's averaged around 600 in the Amazon store, and it peaked around 200. It's been way, way more successful than I could have hoped for. The audiobook is just starting to get momentum now. I put the prequel story into the Amazon store today, and the sequel, Void Wraith, will be out in 4 weeks from tomorrow. So I've really got that momentum. I'm going to try and keep it up, and you're going to see from me more videos about different topics. So I'm going to do one on writing faster. I just finished one up that you can watch right now on outlining, and I am taking more suggestions. You'll see them on motivation. But my goal is to keep this channel alive, to keep showing you the milestones that I'm hitting, because ultimately, this is what I had wished I had had access to 5 years ago. Someone saying, hey guys, you can do this too, and showing kind of behind the scenes in their success and their process. And that's what I want to keep doing for everybody who's stuck with me through this entire journey. So thank you so much for being a part of this. You guys have been amazing. Your encouragement and support is why I was able to do this. And I'm incredibly grateful for everything you guys have done for me. So thank you again. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off from this series.